Hey guys, we're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're still on Algebra 1, Unit 1 review. Okay, so it says Maria is saving money for the down payment on a house. Good for Maria. And she saves $870 every 4 weeks. So this word every means, it's kind of like the word of. It means multiply or divide. So if she does it after 4 weeks, and then she does it again, and she does it again, so the first week, and the second week, and the third week, and it keeps on going, this looks like multiplication, doesn't it? So again, this is just me thinking. You can kind of erase that if you'd like. So we can also think of this as equivalence. So they said the word proportional. That means I had 870 is in a proportion with 4 weeks. So to figure that out, how much would 1 year be? So we've been working on our conversions. We know that 52 weeks are in 1 year. So we are multiplying this by a magical 1. And this will be wonderful because it says how much does she save in 1 year? So weeks would cancel and we'd multiply the numerators and we'd divide by the denominator to get our answer. So crunching this in our calculator. 870 times 52 and then divide by 4. We get, wow, she's got quite a bit saved up. Good for her, right? That's how much she's saving per year. Nice. Now let's look at number 7 because that's how I printed it out on the sheet. So solve the equation. So this touches back on this word proportion. We see 2 fractions. So we know, for instance, 3/10 is the same thing as, if we multiply the top and bottom by 2, is the same thing as 6/20. So we notice something, right? If we cross multiply, 6 and 10 is the same thing as 3 and 20. So with that, we know we can cross multiply to solve. So let's go ahead and do just that. We're going to multiply the 3 by this stuff, and then we're going to multiply the 5 and the x. So I have the 3 and this stuff, and the 5 times the x. I think that's wonderful. So we distribute. And now it said solve. So like our previous one, solve is another way of saying isolate the variable, which is another way of saying get it by itself on one side. So if I subtract a 5x, it's kind of different than I did before. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to stay consistent in this video with my methodology. Add 12 on both sides, right? So I have 5x plus 12. And then I have to get all my x's together on one side. So I subtract 5x on both sides. And now I can just divide, right? So 4 is being multiplied by 12. So we'll go ahead and divide by 4 on both sides. Nice work, guys. Let's then take a look at 6 and 8. It says Miss Q wants to save her money to take a trip to New York. She already has $75 saved, but a round trip ticket cost $230. So she definitely doesn't have enough money yet, right? She has 75. She needs some amount more until she has a total of $230. If she saves $40 a week, so that would be 40 times W. That's her savings. How many weeks will she need to save? Okay, so she has 75 to start, and then 40 times W. So if she only stays 1 week, she only has $40 to add to her total. So again, imagining this would be a 2, then she'd have $80, or 40 times 2. So this would be our formula. Okay, and that's going to take a lot of practice, but that's where we're at. And now it says, let's solve. So we notice that in our PEMDAS, we have an addition sign here, so we're going to do the inverse. We're going to go ahead and subtract 75 from both sides. And my handy dandy calculator. Right, and then we'll divide by 40 on both sides. And there you have it. I have 3.875 weeks. So not quite 4 weeks. Number 8, it says solve the equation. Now we in class solved this one different. Notice that this is multiple choice. So that means we can plug each of these in. I've got more than one way to do it, but I'm just going to demo that version. So if I plug in a 1, I have 2, absolute value of 1 minus 1, minus 4 equals 0. So this would be 2. Now I'm working forwards when I plug in, so I got to do PEMDAS forwards. I do the parenthesis part first. So technically, the absolute value is gathering. So that's a PEMDAS type of a thing. And 2 times 0 is just 0. So here, notice I get -4, and -4 is not equal to 0. So it can't be that one. Now let's plug in -3. So if we plug in -3, that's our next choice, right? 2, -3 minus 1, minus 4. So we have 2, absolute value of -4 would be +4. The absolute value makes that positive. Okay, I'm also not getting 0 here. That would be 8 minus 4, definitely not getting 0. So we can eliminate this one. Now let's plug in the 3, right? So 2 times 3 minus 1, minus 4. So 2 times the absolute value of 2 is still just 2. Ooh, and that's a winner. So this one's good, but we have to finish it out plugging in a -1 to see if this works. Okay, so plug in a -1. So we have 2, -1, -1, minus 4. 2, absolute value of -2, well, if we make that positive, that would be a +2. And I'm getting a 0. So our final answer, C, is good, but we need the best answer. That'll be D. We ended up having both of those choices. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time.